Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and it finally happened! After Merlin, yet another original sin has returned in the 7 Deadly Sins sequel. And this sin is actually playing a major role in the current arc of the story. Things are heating up quickly in the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse manga. Netflix just announced a new animated movie that focuses on Tristan, the son of Meliodas and Elizabeth. And there is so much to talk about, so let's get into it. If you guys enjoy our 7 Deadly Sins and 4 Knights of the Apocalypse content and you want to see more in the future, please leave a like and comment. It only takes a second, but it helps a lot. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, or maybe you watch our videos but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. It should go without saying that this video will contain spoilers for the 7 Deadly Sins sequel, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Okay, first up, let's talk about the new 7 Deadly Sins movie that was just announced. A 2-part 7 Deadly Sins spin-off movie called Grudge of Edinburgh is coming in 2022, and it will focus on Tristan. Now, I'm definitely interested in the plot, but I am definitely not excited about the CGI animation. To be honest, the teaser trailer we got basically looks like a cutscene from the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross game, so yeah. After amazing animation in the first 2 seasons of the anime, it seems that 7 Deadly Sins fans are cursed to deal with subpar animation. And speaking of cursed, in case you missed it, I made an entire video on the Cursed by Light 7 Deadly Sins movie. It has an interesting plot that adds to the original story and develops the backstory for the sequel. So be sure to check out that video if you haven't already. I will link it in the description and in the pinned comment. Okay, so now on to the latest twists and turns in the sequel manga. After the big showdown with Ironside in Sistana, the journey to Leonis continues, and the main crew is now made up of Percival, Donnie, Nacienz, Anne's horse, Sylvan, and Sin the Fox. During a brief stopover at the town of Kant, we saw the return of Hauser, who is now a captain of the Holy Knights of Leonis and who turns out to be Donnie's uncle. Donnie's mother is Hauser's sister, who sadly passed away when Donnie was just a kid. We also saw our heroes fight off an actual dragon, which was extremely cool. At the end of the arc, Hauser warns the gang that as long as they are carrying Dragon Handle with them, they will be a target for the forces of Camelot. As a fragment of the Coffin of Eternal Darkness, Dragon Handle carries a lot of power, and that makes its wielder a constant target. Not surprisingly, Percival volunteers to carry it anyway, so Hauser, who is a skilled blacksmith, attaches a new blade to Dragon Handle. This turns Dragon Handle into a functional sword for Percival, and beyond this a lot more happened during this arc, but I just won't spend too much time covering it. I want to just get right into the current arc, which features a secret village full of demons and the return of another member of the original 7 Deadly Sins. As our heroes continue their journey, they have to cross the Peaks of Fear, a large mountain range that constitutes the single biggest geographical obstacle on the way to Leonis. These mountains are apparently known as a hotbed of eerie mystical powers, and they often induce strange illusions and visions in travelers. Sin the Fox sees one of these visions as the gang sets up camp for the night. He sees a strange woman who is dressed like a bride and who calls him by his name, something that shocks Sin. We don't see what name she uses, but we can assume that his real name is something other than Sin. If the woman had just called him Sin, there would be no reason for him to be so shocked because everyone else knows him as Sin. Now, no one else in the party saw this strange woman, only Sin, and this seems to support the theory that Sin is not really who he claims to be. I keep thinking and hoping that he is actually Bon, the fox's sin of greed, and that he was somehow turned into a fox against his will. In order to hide his identity while he figures out how to return to his human form, Bon just adopted the name Sin, as in fox's sin. That would definitely make sense to me, especially if this strange woman was somehow connected to the Lady of the Lake, the person who abducted Bon's son, Lancelot. We'll have to wait and see. I am 100% sure that Sin is directly connected to Bon and Lancelot in some way, I'm just not sure how exactly. My guess is that Sin is actually Bon, but that's just a hunch. The gang suddenly comes across a hidden village near the summit of the mountain range. The villagers notice them and start smiling and waving, and while Percival and Donnie are intrigued, Anne and Asiens think this village is kind of weird. Then a man shows up with his dog, and he warns the gang not to go into the village because it is dangerous. But it's already too late for Percival and Donnie, who are heading for the village as we speak at full speed. Sin rushes in after them in an attempt to turn them away, and they end up passing through some sort of magical barrier which apparently traps them inside the village. As we see all the villagers smiling with eyes that look completely blank, the man with the dog tells Anne and Asiens that the village their friends just ran into is no village at all. It is a den of monsters. It's pretty obvious from the start that something is off with this village, but that is only the beginning of the drama that ensues during this arc. The crazy twists just keep coming, and I actually love them, so let me walk you through all of them. The man with the dog introduces himself as a hunter named Ard, and he explains that this mysterious village appeared only 10 years ago. And while the people inside the village may appear like normal people, as soon as any of them leaves the magical barrier that surrounds the village, they instantly turn into monsters. The leader of the village is especially interesting. He's a tall, elderly bearded man, and Sin is immediately suspicious of him. According to Sin, this village elder has been using some sort of bird to spy on our heroes since before they entered the mountains. And then, when Percival reveals that the fox's name is Sin, the elder has the exact same reaction as me. He's like, Sin, the fox's name is Sin, Sin the fox. And I'm just like, yes bro, this guy gets it. It has to be directly related to Bon, the fox's sin of greed. Anyway, the elder asks Sin to talk to him in private, and the two of them leave while Percival and Donnie are served a bunch of food by the other villagers. Meanwhile, in their private meeting, the elder seems to have knocked Sin out. I mean, Sin is literally on the floor passed out, and the elder tells him to rest as long as he'd like. As all of this is happening in the village, Ard explains to Anne and Asiens that the only way to help their friends escape is to destroy the strange stone idol at the center of the village. Ard volunteers to create a diversion while Anne and Asiens destroy the idol, and although Asiens is suspicious about why Ard would be so eager to risk his own life to help them, Anne assures him that Ard hasn't lied about anything. Since she has the power to detect lies, we have to assume that Ard is being sincere when he says that he just wants to prevent innocent people from being hurt by these monsters. So, Ard proceeds with his distraction while Anne and Asiens head for the idol. At first, they think that Donnie and Percival are being attacked by the villagers, but it turns out that they're just having a great time playing around. Strangely enough, Percival is able to communicate with the villagers even though they speak a foreign language that does not originate in Britannia. And Percival doesn't even seem to know why he can understand the language, which isn't even surprising when it comes to Percival, it's just how he rolls. Anne then manages to destroy the idol with the help of her horse, and then suddenly all of the villagers are revealed for what they truly are. They are not humans. All of them are demons. More specifically, they are all lower ranked red and gray demons that we are so familiar with from the original series. As the villager's true form is revealed, Ard reveals his own true identity. He is actually a holy knight of Camelot, and he is committed to returning Britannia to the human race, even if that means exterminating everyone else. Oh, and also his dog is actually a monster, so there's that. But here's the interesting thing. Anne is expecting that these horrible demons are gonna attack them and eat her friends, but the demons turn out to be extremely nice. They weren't putting up an act earlier when they were in human form. They really are just chill guys, and they really do want to be friends with Percival and the others. Despite their demonic appearance, and despite what we saw other red and gray demons do in the past, these particular demons really are peace-loving creatures. But now that the idol has been broken, the holy knight Artberg, formerly known as Ard, has infiltrated the village. He is a holy knight in King Arthur's service, and he vows to exterminate all of these members of the demon clan. The elder tries to explain that these demons refused to fight in the Holy War, and that they decided to hide out here specifically because they didn't want to hurt anyone, but Artberg doesn't care. He believes that all demons are evil without exception, and that they all must be destroyed in order to protect humans. Artberg then uses a crystal known as the Amber of the Four Archangels to seal the demons away. Artberg also realizes that Percival is one of the rumored 4 Knights of the Apocalypse. And after Percival demands the release of his demon friends, Artberg attacks Percival. The Holy Knight believes that associating with the demon clan in any way is evil, and the fact that Percival is willing to call demons his friends means that the prophecy must be true. Percival really will destroy the world unless he is stopped. So, Artberg pledges to kill Percival, although he doesn't want to hurt Anne and Asiens, and he tells them to just leave. So he's not just some sadistic psycho who wants to kill everyone, he only wants to eliminate those creatures he believes are a threat to humans. Artberg's dog also goes after Percival. Although he is no longer a dog, he is now a giant monster with antlers or horns. He turns out to be a Cernunnos, a legendary godly beast with massive horns who is said to reside in the depths of hell. I wonder if depths of hell here is referring to purgatory, because this beast definitely looks like it could be a creature of purgatory. Either way though, we have already seen a giant horn of a Cernunnos beast in the original manga. As you'll recall, this horn served as a vessel for one of the goddesses. An intense battle between Cernunnos and Percival ensues. Percival is almost eaten by the beast, but thankfully he is able to use his overpowered hope magic to push the beast back and then counterattack. However, whenever Percival tries to slice the beast's horns with his sword, nothing happens. Apparently, Cernunnos' horns are extremely hard and not even steel can cut them. Meanwhile, Sin finally wakes up just in time to witness this crazy battle go down. For her part, Anne threatens Artberg with a sword and tries to get him to call off his beast. She is also surprised that she wasn't able to detect Artberg's lies, even though he clearly tricked them. But Artberg explains that everything he said was true. He really is a hunter, but he hunts demons, not animals. He also really did want to save innocent people, but in his mind, the only way to save them is to exterminate all demons. So Artberg really was sincere the whole time, just not in the way that Anne had anticipated. This kind of shows the limitations of Anne's lie-detecting powers in a very interesting way. Artberg explains to our heroes that they are just too young to understand the truth about the demons. They don't know what happened during the Holy War and how many innocent people were mercilessly slaughtered by the demon clan. Entire families were wiped out. Parents lost their own innocent children because of demons. And so the only way to protect humanity from further suffering in the future is to eliminate the entire demon clan. Percival is still struggling with the beast because he just can't cut through the horns, but Sin has a suggestion. He tells Percival to infuse his dragon handle sword with his hope magic, which ends up increasing the power of his sword exponentially. With his newly boosted weapon, Percival is able to cut off the horns with ease. After being nearly eaten at one point, Percival manages to defeat the beast with an assist from Naciens. Our heroes then prepare to take on Artberg himself, but when they turn around they realize that he's already running away at full speed. He tries to play it cool and call it a strategic retreat, which reminds me of my boy Joseph Joestar, so I have to give Artberg respect for that. Now, technically, the gang could just leave Artberg and continue their journey to Leonis. But Percival insists that they must rescue his demon friends from Artberg's crystal seal. The fact that Percival wants to rescue the villagers, even after learning that they are actually demons, surprises the Elder. But Percival insists that the fact that some demons did bad things in the past doesn't mean that all of them are bad. Just like the fact that his father killed his grandfather, it doesn't mean that all humans are bad. If you're a good guy, it doesn't matter whether you're a human or a demon. This seems to really warm the Elder's heart, and he decides to place his faith in Percival and the others. The gang follows Artberg to a cavernous crystal grotto that turns out to be a giant maze, and of course, it is also a trap. Artberg's magic is not good for direct battles, so he is not a fighter. But if he can trap his opponents in a specific way, he can use his magic to defeat them. His magic is the ability to revert all living things within a 50-yard radius into their infant forms. And that is exactly what happens to Percival, Naciens, Anne, and Donnie. They are turned into adorable little toddlers who can barely walk on their own. Needless to say, they are now in no condition to fight. They're just babies after all, and that means that Artberg has won. Well, Percival is still freakishly strong even as a baby, so he turns out to be a bit bothersome, but at the end of the day, he has still mentally reverted to a baby, so he isn't really hard to beat. However, things change when Anne begins to cry. She weeps and begs Artberg not to hurt her friends. In this moment, little crying Anne reminds Artberg of his own young daughter. His daughter, who it turns out was brutally murdered by demons during the Holy War. That is why Artberg is so committed to destroying the demon clan. They killed his innocent young daughter for no reason, and so he concluded that all demons must be evil monsters. He decided to avenge his daughter while also making sure that no other humans suffer his tragic fate in the future, so he dedicated his life to exterminating all demons. And that is about the time that the Elder suddenly appears inside the grotto. He tells Artberg that he now understands why the Holy Knight is doing what he's doing. The Elder also knows that Artberg desperately longs to meet his daughter again. Artberg denies this at first, but then the Elder offers him a deal. If Artberg reverses the spell that he placed on Percival and the others, and if he gives back the crystal with the demons, the Elder will let him meet his daughter again. Artberg doesn't believe that this is even possible at first, but he can tell that something is off with the Elder. He was not sealed away in the crystal, so he is not a demon, but the baby spell also doesn't work on him for some reason, so he's probably not human either. The Elder says that according to the rules of Artberg's magic, it takes 1 minute for someone to get younger by 1 year. So for Percival and the others, it only took 16 minutes to turn them into babies. But the Elder explains that due to the fact that he is over 3,000 years old, it would take 3 whole days for Artberg's spell to work on him. The Elder then strikes a flamboyant pose that reveals his true identity. That's right, the Elder is not a demon or a human, he is none other than the goat sin of lust, Goether. Now it makes sense why the Elder made that connection between Sin the Fox and the Fox's sin of greed. Although the part about Goether putting Sin to sleep doesn't make much sense, and neither does Goether's choice of wardrobe, but moving on. Goether introduces himself as one of the 7 deadly sins, the so-called sworn enemies of King Arthur. What a freaking twist. Even though I suspected that something was off about the Elder, I definitely did not expect him to turn out to be one of the original 7 deadly sins, and yes, it's our boy Goether. I guess Goether became the Elder because he decided to help those peace-loving demons who are essentially refugees from the demon realm, but who are also feared and hated by everyone in the human realm. Artberg knows that he doesn't stand a chance of defeating one of the 7 deadly sins, so he decides to just run for it. He still believes that killing Percival is the right thing to do, because if one of the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse is allowed to live, he will eventually destroy the world. Once Goether catches up to Artberg, the Holy Knight orders him to stay away or he will throw baby Percival and baby Anne into a canyon and kill them. But then Goether shows Artberg that he is holding Artberg's own daughter, an adorable little baby girl. And he then asks Artberg if he would really kill Percival and Anne in front of his own daughter. Now, the little girl is just a vision that Goether created from Artberg's memories, and Artberg knows that it's just a mirage. But it is so realistic that he can't help but cry tears of joy. He agrees to lift the spell on Percival and the others, and he recalls what happened after he lost his daughter all those years ago. His powers only awoke after he lost his daughter. They seem to have been triggered by the tragic event. And after that, King Arthur came to him and asked him whether he wants to see his daughter again, alive and well. If so, then he must join Arthur and lend him his powers. Even though Artberg thought that this was a ridiculous proposition, the look in Arthur's eyes convinced him that the king was serious. So wait, does this mean that Arthur knows of a real way to revive the dead? If so, then this is a massive reveal that is going to be extremely important later on. So, Artberg agreed to serve King Arthur, and he embraced Arthur's mission to banish all the demons and make the world safe for humanity. Artberg says that he sees the light now, no one can really bring back the dead, and his daughter is gone, but he appreciates Goether allowing him to see his daughter one last time, just the way he had remembered her. Then, out of nowhere, Goether senses that 2 spears infused with magic are flying right at them, and they seem to be targeting Percival. Goether is able to save Percival using an epic acrobatic maneuver, but after Goether takes Percival out of harm's way, the second spear is heading straight for baby Anne. Artberg tells his daughter, or the vision of his daughter, to hold on a sec because daddy will be coming to see her soon. He then rescues Anne by lifting her over his shoulders and out of harm's way, but at the cost of the spear piercing right through his own torso. Artberg sacrifices his life to save Anne, and his last words to her are to grow up and be a great woman. Wow, the twists in this arc are just insane. The villagers are demons. The honest and sincere hunter guy is a holy knight of Camelot who wants to kill Percival. The village elder is actually Goether. And then in the end, Artberg sacrifices his life to save Anne in what ends up being a wholesome and heartbreaking moment. I have to say that I was really impressed by this arc, and there is a lot of depth here. In the early stages of the original 7 Deadly Sins story, our impressions of the demons, and especially those low-level demons, is almost exclusively negative. And yet, in life, things are never so simple, and there are indeed good and bad demons, just like there are good and bad humans. I'm so glad that the sequel story decided to explore this topic, And Artberg ended up being such a freaking interesting character. On the one hand, his decision to target all demons and even Percival just because of his preconceived assumptions is clearly bad. And yet, you can see where he's coming from after you learn his tragic backstory. After all, some demons really are monsters, just like some humans are monsters as well, and Artberg had the bad luck to meet some of those evil demons firsthand. Those evil demons then informed his opinion of all demons, and yet now we meet demons who literally risked their lives to avoid killing humans. They had to flee the demon realm because refusing to fight in the Holy War was the same as treason from the perspective of the demon clan. And on top of all of that, we have Goether just hanging out with the demons and protecting them. This makes sense since Goether's creator, the original Goether, was also a demon who wanted peace and opposed the Holy War. So by protecting these demons, Goether is honoring the memory of his creator. But that epic reveal aside, what will Goether do now? Will he continue just chilling in the demon village? Or will he now join our heroes on their journey? Also, did Goether figure out Sin's true identity, and is Sin actually Bond? If so, will we see Bond's human form soon? Oh, and who was that bride from Sin's strange vision? Is she related to the fact that Arthur is currently looking for a bride? Finally, who sent those magic spears after Percival? Man, so many interesting questions. This was easily the best arc of the sequel manga so far. And how funny would it be if it turned out that Sin really was Bon all along? I know a lot of fans were complaining that Nakaba should have featured the original Sins more prominently in the sequel manga, so how hilarious would it be if Bon was actually there the whole time? Definitely let me know what you guys think about the return of Goether, this current arc of the manga, and Sin's true identity down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more 7 Deadly Sins and 4 Nights of the Apocalypse content here on the channel, just leave a quick like and comment. It only takes a second, but it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new to the channel or you watch our videos but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a quick favor and make this the video that you subscribe, hit the bell, and then select the option that says all. If you don't do that, you're gonna miss a ton of our videos in the future. It's just the way YouTube works. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. A big thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons who make videos like this one possible. Special thank you to Alpha Sigma. This man is an absolute mad lad and a disciple of Lord Twigo himself. I also can't forget all of our The One tier patrons, the ones who rise above all other clans, including Ingrata, Aljatal, Pate Hefa, Hinokami and Water, The Toasted Chi, Corey McGowan, The Spike, Kaido Might Be a Gyarados, Dylan Isidore, Spidey Life Tanel, Tungsten Tarkus, Baked Buddhist, Monkey D. Quilly, Cody Hebert, and Jeremy Cummings. Finally, thank you also to our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, the Red-Haired Raven, Steelers on Hell Cruise, Veriguchi, Alicia Octor, Bonnie Parks, Joanne Garcia, Fatboy Games, Jessica Rabbit, and Jeremy Phillips. If you enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value to you, consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single dollar will give you access to our Patreon-exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these amazing people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.